Hi, I'm Sandy Max. This is an Arts Page Web Extra, an interview with art collector Bill Heeter, who you met during our feature all about BART, B parentheses art, an art exhibition at the Trout Gallery in Appleton, all about The Simpsons and the handcrafted animation cells. So now we're going to dig a little bit deeper and get to know Bill. Bill, welcome.
Well, I thought I was Sandy Max. You're Sandy Max? I'm confused.
We can switch roles.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. That was not a good way to start. What was your question?
It's a fine way to start. Welcome. And I've just found out something about you as we were getting ready for this Web Extra. All of Wisconsin is going to love you even more because you're a Green Bay Packers fan.
Absolutely. Born and raised in Appleton, went to school in Madison, ended up in Colorado Springs just about 6 or 7 years ago. But man, I remember, my dad was at the Ice Bowl. I went to games when I was a teenager, and we still have season tickets, come out for 4 or 5 games every year. Of course, we only come out for the games that they win, which is a good strategy, I think.
Well, Bill, this is so much fun to talk with you because we're going to talk about animation, but you yourself are so animated. What drew you to animation as such a passion?
You know, a lot of people ask me that question, and I guess it all goes back to when I was a little nipper growing up in Appleton, going to Edison School, great elementary school, and I would walk home for lunch. And in those days, we actually had color television back then, believe it or not. And at noon, they would have cartoons on. And I would be watching the cartoons, and my dad would come home and have lunch. And he said, Bill, you know, if you ever, actually he said Billy, never called me Bill. That was only when I was in trouble. But he said, Billy, if that big rooster ever comes on, let me know, and I'll come out and watch it with you. Well, of course, that was Foghorn Leghorn. And so at 8, 9, 10 years old, I was hooked because cartoons were funny. My dad was spending time with me. And fast forward, I worked for a gift wrap company in Appleton, and we had a chance to do some Warner Brothers licensing. And I got connected with the Warner Brothers people and Chuck Jones, the Warner Brothers director, and that's how I started collecting.
Wow, what an epic connection with a truly iconic animation that a lot of us remember growing up. So what was it like to meet Chuck Jones, who created all of this entertainment, but like you said, a chance to connect with your dad?
Well, first of all, my experience with Chuck was fabulous, but certainly walking away from a guy like that, you feel like a total moron because he is so well-read, so articulate, so creative. What do you say when you meet an icon and someone that you've admired your whole life? So I probably sounded more like Porky Pig and stuttered away. And but and he passed away 20 some odd years ago, but I was able to meet him 4 or 5 times and just think the world of him.
Well, Chuck Jones left a legacy with those Warner Brothers cartoons, but now you move into something that is a continuing legacy with The Simpsons. How did you fall in love with The Simpsons?
You know, actually, I didn't at first. I watched the first couple seasons, and I thought they were okay, but I didn't really get into it. And it's like some series, you need to watch it a couple times to get going, and that's what I did. And as any collector will tell you, once you start, 1 leads to 2, 2 leads to 4, 4 leads to 8, 8 leads to a really sad bank account. But you keep collecting because you keep looking for those special scenes or characters or images that mean something special to you.
So you were slow to warm up to The Simpsons. What was it that finally hooked you?
The fact that I sat down and actually listened to it. You know, it was a clever dialogue. And I'm very much into, as you can tell, maybe the sarcasm and the clever writing and the great voice actors. The animation from The Simpsons itself, if you're technical, it doesn't compare to what Disney did. Disney was so far advanced. But this is a package deal. It's about the writing and the voice actors and the situational commentary and all this kind of stuff. So it was a package versus just admiring the animation itself.
What was the very first Simpsons cell that you purchased and why?
Well, this is probably 20 some odd years ago when they first started distributing Simpsons art, and it was really hard to get. It was a needle in a haystack. So I started calling around to all these different galleries trying to find it. And a gallery in Florida sent me an image, and I thought, okay, this is a cool image. It's the whole family. It's a great pose. Now, can I afford it? And so I was able to. Actually, now that I think about it, it's almost 30 years ago that this happened. And as I said, one led to it. It just kept growing from there.
Then what are some of your very favorites? If you could only grab 3 in a rush out the door, which are those cels that you would grab?
3 boxes of cels?
Oh, you're thinking. It's like giving you wishes, and then you wish for more wishes.
Yeah, and really big boxes.
But I know that your answer probably would change on each day. But really, what are some of the 3 like standouts in your collection?
It's hard for me to say. We have probably 500 to 600 cels from The Simpsons. But to pick one out of 500 or 600, I don't know how I can do that. But there's certain characters I love. I'm very much into facial expressions. So if there's a Krusty the Clown or Moe the bartender, or obviously the family, that's a particular pose. That's what I go after.
And why did you reach out to the Trout Museum of Art in Appleton about this collection?
Well, you know, the Trout has been incredibly supportive for the last 6 or 7 years in terms of promoting animation. And we did our first exhibit, I think, in 2016 or so. And since then, we've done How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, a whole display of Chuck Jones, Warner Brothers art, and now this. And we work with the Trout for 2 reasons. Number one is the fact they're local, and I'm from Appleton, and I want to share it with the people that I knew there. But also, I think I just want people to learn more about animation, and Trout has been really good about promoting that. You know, they don't do animation anymore the way they used to. It used to be hand-painted, hand-inked. Now it's all digital. The last time The Simpsons was hand-painted was season 13, and they're in season 35. So you can't get a cel past season 13 because they didn't use them anymore. So part of what I'm trying to do is just kind of keep it out there that this was a terrific art form, that 80 years, this is what animation was, but we don't do it that way anymore. It's now digital.
Bill Heeter, thank you so much for your time, and keep spreading the great word about the art form of animation.
Thanks so much for asking me. Appreciate it.